Hello viewers, we are back again with Literary Goa. This is a program that looks at books and authors on Goa and from Goa. And today we have with us Domnic P.F. Fernandes, who has been writing for 15 or more years on Goa on different aspects. There are 4 of his books here in front of us. Domnic, I remember you first when I read you on the net. Maybe I was thinking about 2003, 4, 5 or 2 or something. How did 2003? How did you get started and when?
Well, I was working in Saudi Arabia, and at that time, 2003, the price of oil completely came down. So, a lot of activities were curtailed, including overtime.
Yeah.
And so, I had a lot of time at my disposal. So, what to do, I said. I started writing small articles, and then went on writing. I wrote every day without fail. I used to write and post on GoAnet. GoAnet people very cooperative.
It was one of the early social media kind of sites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And from then on, I started building on this writing.
No, so the articles you were writing then were mostly focused on Goa
On Goa.
of a certain era, that is
Yeah.
40, 50 years back.
Yeah, of the 50s and 60s.
And I remember you telling me that you had this memory which was almost photographic, that you could recall things that happened then very well.
Yeah, by the grace of God, I have that power with me to recall the things, even from the age of 4.
From the age of 4.
4. So that's what made my writings more attractive.
People want to understand what Goa was in the past. Many of us who have been in and out of Goa, maybe come from other parts of the world or settled here late, don't know exactly or don't know that era. Your first book is called Domnic's Goa,
Domnic's Goa.
a nostalgic romp through a bygone era.
Yeah.
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 And it has a very striking cover and things like that. But in the book, you have essays, I think 31 chapters.
Yeah.
On different aspects on Goa, of
Yeah,
Goa life,
yeah,
Goan
yeah.
life. Like for example, what?
Like, for example, the mode of transport. We didn't have any mode of transport. The only thing that we had is Boilanzo Gado, the bullock cart, to carry goods.
Yeah.
And to carry passengers, we also had Boilanji Gadi,
Gadi,
and that was called a matchbox.
matchbox.
So people were used to this in the absence of transportation. There was only one carrera from Sholim to Betim. And that if you could make it, well and good. People went for even weddings
Yeah,
on the Boilanji Gadi.
I see.
And it was a good, nice journey. 4 people seated in 2 seats and 1 or 2 stools in the middle. It was really very interesting. People used to sing.
Yeah,
Sing
while traveling.
songs. Huh?
While traveling.
Yeah. Just like in the cars they do.
Okay.
You know.
Like your
The-
picnics, yeah.
Yeah. Then it was very interesting because people were limited
Yeah,
and the time was limited. Within that 1 hour, supposing we had to reach half an hour, we had to reach Mapsa. We had to reach Aldana. We reached. And people were very cooperative also
I
that
see.
time. And when the oxen were released from there.
yeah, yeah.
And then they used to just feed them with grass and get water from the well.
I see. So that was their petrol in that sense.
They were told, yeah. So that was one of the aspects. And
I remember your chapter on the musical instruments of those days.
yeah.
What were they?
The musical instruments were all hand instruments.
Percussion?
Violin,
Violin.
percussions, and drums, percussion. And they were just, even the speaking was, the singing was done to the megaphone. It was nice then because there were no restrictions on music. The music was silent.
Yeah.
So
Not noisy, not
not
very
noisy.
Yeah.
And the weddings used to take place at night, 9 o'clock, for example. Get over tomorrow, that is at 6 o'clock,
I see.
7 o'clock.
Next morning.
Next morning, people used to just go around, and at that time, the weddings used to get over.
Yeah.
And people, those who felt asleep, they used to go and sleep in somebody's balcony.
So together with the gumot, there were other percussion instruments which we don't talk about much today, which is the
No, the gumot was used only in local band.
yeah,
That is called bond.
yeah,
And otherwise, there were no gumot or anything.
Okay.
Yeah. Although it was initially connected with mando and all that,
Yeah, yeah.
but not the music of the 50s or
okay,
60s.
okay, okay.
And Johnson and the Jolly Boys
Yeah, from Surely.
they were the number one band at that time.
Yeah.
He used to croon, and everything used to go very fine.
All over birthdays and even south of the
Even,
Mandovi.
even south of Salsit.
Yeah,
To go to Salsit, he used to hire a Camino,
I
a
see.
big bus, because
I remember the Caminos in the 70s when we were just kids.
Yeah.
They were still there on the Kolwale route.
yeah, so because the transportation was not there, and they could not carry so many people like drum and all this, all the mokao.
Yeah.
That was nice at that time. It was according to the time.
Your chapter here, For Whom the Bells Toll, I think looks, if I remember right, looks at the pealing of the bells, and that's
The
a chapter
pealing
on
of the
itself.
bells and the dead.
So each bell formation has a different meaning and a different signal to
Yeah, I
the village.
mean the running bell is the church, and the town is the death toll. And also in the past, they used to ring the bells for to gather the people, or if there was any problem in the church or chapel,
Yeah.
they used to ring the bell and everybody will come
Gather.
gather.
So it's almost like a talking drum in the sense that if you didn't grow up in Goa with a grandmother,
Yeah,
you might not even be aware of all these
Yeah,
nuances,
yeah,
no?
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it's like a language which no one teaches you. You're supposed to pick it up.
yeah. It also, I mean, the good thing about me was that I was curious to know about everything.
Yeah.
So that's how I learned a lot of things.
There's a chapter on wells.
Yeah,
There's a chapter on summer fruit.
yeah,
There's a chapter on houses and the cow dung floors.
yeah.
Think since I like listening to radio, I found fascinating your description of Akashvani, a full day's program from
Yeah,
I think
550 something.
till 11 p.m. at night. In those
Yeah,
days, that
yeah,
was the
yeah,
broadcasting
yeah,
hours
yeah.
when FM was not there.
Yeah.
So, Domnic, you think this era is important? We need to recall it. We need to put it down on paper. Why?
Everything is important, especially the past. If you don't know the past, if you don't try to know the past, or if you don't want to know the past, you can hardly get into the present.
Yeah.
The past is more important because of the things that happen, and most of it people don't know. So it is for people like me to put it down in writing so that it will serve the posterity.
So, if you just joined us, we are talking to Domnic P.F. Fernandes, who's from Anjuna and the author of 4 books on Goa. Domnic, the second book is the one which has done well, and it looks at Mapsa in
Mapsa.
that sense. Mapsa yesterday and today. I think it's completely sold out. It's not available in
Yeah,
print
yeah.
now. So, can you introduce this book to us? What angle of Mapsa do you look at?
Mapsa yesterday and today are the happenings that took place then and now. Like I go through every gully of Mapsa, and
Every lane, every bylane?
every lane, every bylane, and depict the shops and people who were important then. And
What was there? What is there?
what was there and what is there. Most of it is destroyed now, and new things, new buildings, new shops have come up.
But it's still within the memory frame of the elder generation. People who know it either know those people or they know their relations, so they can identify with what you're talking about, right?
Yeah. Most importantly was the old bazaar,
I see.
which was behind the then municipal.
The old bazaar, which was behind the old municipality,
Old
which is not there,
which
which
is
is
not
shifted
there.
now, which
Yeah.
is shifted.
And that was the place where the whole of Bhardesh would meet.
Yeah.
And
Till which year?
till
When the new market came, that was
Yeah.
just before the Portuguese left, no?
61, I think. 61, 60, 61.
61.
Yeah. Now it is completely finished. I mean, instead of the market now,
Yeah.
there are buildings. There
Yeah,
are
very
buildings
close
now.
to Junta House, no? Junta quarters. What's that? No, it's the old market is close to the old municipality on that road going down.
Yeah. Where behind till today the liquor ladies sell their
Yeah.
liquor.
They sell it only at some particular time in the morning or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
From 7 to 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you don't know, you won't know about it at all. So what are the major landmarks of Mapsa? You think the Tsone from Mapsa, the gram vendors are one landmark?
Yeah. I mean, if you went to Mapsa, you came back without chana or
Yeah.
sone. You didn't go to Mapsa.
It was as good as not going.
Yeah.
I think Mapsa is famous for that now. Yusapkar and a few others, 2, 3, 4 vendors, all in a line.
Yeah. Now there are shops all in a line. Mapshekar, Sonaji Sallan, they say.
I see. Meaning Mapshekars are the
Pills
peels.
of
They are so closely identified with Tsone.
yeah.
You don't get Tsone in many other towns of Goa, no? In
You
that
get,
sense.
but
not so much.
you will also get Sone at every fair,
Fair.
feast.
Right.
And they do come still very rarely.
Yeah.
Very rarely. So it was something to be appreciated, because those guys they prepared their chana in the next morod, and they brought it back to Mapsa.
Yeah, there's a big process of heating it and
Yeah,
the
there's a
sand.
big
And
process. It's all hit.
I remember, of course, the other landmarks, one being the church of Mapsa, which is
Yeah.
on the cover.
Yeah.
There are some old photos of the church on the cover and
Yeah.
and temple and
Yeah.
Azilo, of course.
Yeah, zero.
And this is the Viscount de Bardes, right?
It's Konde Bardes, yeah.
Not much known.
Not much known because people didn't follow him. Rather, once he was gone.
Yeah.
It's not a history as such. So as I was going through, I found
His photo.
photo at his nephew's house, and I found it interesting. So I said, let me put it in there.
I see. He was known in his time but forgotten soon after.
Yeah. After he died, he was forgotten. And the asilo, of course, is very important.
Yeah.
It was the hospital of the
Of
north.
Bardes, yeah.
Yeah.
Of the north. North
Yeah.
of North Goa. Full
North
North
Goa.
Goa. Today,
Yeah.
Today our district hospital.
Today
and all
you
that.
have this hospital.
So what you're doing is walking through Mapsa and comparing what existed then with what exists now.
Yeah.
So building by building, street by street.
Yeah.
You had the Tiat Matos.
Yeah, Matos were the theatre was used to be held in that hall.
Where Hanuman Natyagraha has now come up.
No, not now. That was I forgot now.
Okay.
Yeah, and in the Matos,
Yeah.
in the Matos, and the first one to introduce Mato was Narvekar, I think, then followed by
Srirang Narvekar.
Srirang Narvekar.
I see.
Srirang Narvekar was a part of theatre. In every theatre he
I
was
see.
there. Not personally.
Yeah.
His connection was there. His motto used to be used,
I see.
and the others, of course, Braganza.
That is Bon Briganza's father.
Yeah.
Okay.
And,
It's a small place. Everyone knows everyone else.
Yeah.
So that makes the story a bit charming.
Yeah. Because I gave a little bit of actors also in that,
I see.
and so the people who could know, who knew, they could gather, and
Everyone wants to see how they figure in that story.
yeah.
What happens if you leave out someone, or if you write about them in a bit dismissively, what they see as dismissively, so you don't give them the importance due? Has anyone come and complained to you?
No,
that
no one has
not
come
yet.
so far because I've tried my best to give the best,
Yeah,
and beyond
justice.
that you can't do.
Yeah.
You can't do, especially you will not be able to do as much as I did because
Yeah.
I did it because I could remember it, and how could I come back?
Yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah.
true. Once it's done, it's done.
Yeah,
But the third book that you did
yeah,
is called Village Anjuna.
yeah,
Vignettes from Goa.
Yeah.
Village Anjuna.
village Anjuna.
Why exactly village? Of course, I know Anjuna because you're from Anjuna.
Yeah.
What's the significance of the title?
Significance of that title is nothing but since the whole thing covers Anjuna, I said let's make it village Anjuna.
Would it be right to say that you're not talking about beach Anjuna but only village Anjuna?
Yeah, not beach Anjuna.
So you're ignoring the beach Anjuna, it doesn't exist for you.
Not ignoring.
You are giving prominence to the
yeah,
village.
I have mentioned somewhere about Vagator beach,
Okay,
Anjuna
okay,
beach,
okay.
but not in detail.
Yeah, because today when everyone thinks of Anjuna, they think of the beach. But you're saying that there is a village, there is a settlement which predated the beach,
Yeah,
which has a very complex social structure, and you are outlining many aspects of that.
yeah.
So what are the aspects that you deal with? Of course, we know that there's a lot of importance on the church, the village church, your chapel, Father Agnel.
Mm. Yeah.
And what would you, or who would you consider to be the other landmarks, the prominent people from the village who deserve to be?
There's one Ujin Mai who was,
Could you explain the concept?
she was the doctor of the poor. She would
A traditional healer in
a
that
traditional
sense.
hero plus the deliverer. So
Maternity assistant.
Maternity assistant. Even doctors used to take her. She was so good.
So totally unschooled, untrained, but
Yeah.
learned through experience and knowledge, and
Yeah.
respected for her skills.
Yeah, yeah.
In a world where doctors were scarce.
Yeah, very scarce. So at that time we had Dr. Alencio, who is also in there. Dr. Alencio, Afonso. What is
Traditional
that?
healers also.
Yeah.
Because in Goa, in the rest of India, the Western medicine was not so prominent as, say, traditional healing till the 50s, 60s, when?
Till the 50s.
50s.
Yeah.
So they had great faith in Vojin Mai.
They had great faith. The moment they used to see her, she touched them, they felt good.
The moment she touched them, they felt
Yeah,
good.
it was a psychological effect, of course.
That's true. Sometimes we meet a doctor who has such good bedside manners that the moment he talks to you, you feel better.
Yeah, yeah, it was like that. And she used to be taken to the place of delivery. Of course, at that time there were no motorcycles, there were no
Yeah.
cars, so they used to take her walking. And during the process, she encountered a lot of unusual things,
I see.
like traveling at the height of night, 1 o'clock,
I
3
see.
o'clock.
I see.
It's something different. At that time,
As a lone lady also.
yeah, at that time there are a lot of ghostly incidents,
yeah.
and
Goa was a dark and spooky place then, much
Yeah,
more than now, no?
yeah, yeah. But she was a very gutsy.
I see.
Um,
How old was she then?
she died at 70 something.
And what was her name?
Margarita
Margarita what?
Fernandes.
Interesting, interesting.
Now, after that, her son used to do injection and all that. He was a compounder in Mapsa Asilo. Now his son is very
I see.
famous,
I see.
Dr. Nazareth.
I see. I see. Western medicine doesn't look too kindly on unschooled persons, but the fact is that the villages, the rural areas do depend and do need.
Yeah, at that
This
time
kind.
they depended on that only.
Yeah.
Now one doctor after another.
Yeah. Now we have a lot. So, Domnic, what are the risks of writing on in this format? Do you think that it is something that could cause could cause a little bit of problems in with people who don't like exactly what you're saying, or
No,
who
that's very rare. Those who don't like, it's very rare.
people enjoy the nostalgia.
People enjoy the nostalgia, and they have been writing to me. And
What's the feedback you received?
I received very good feedback on the first book.
I see.
On the second also there was. On the third, not so much.
Yeah.
Although it is the biggest book.
Anjuna.
And people, the problem is that the people in Goa now, they don't fall for writing and reading.
Yeah.
They are much after the TV serials and all that.
There is also a problem with distribution, in the sense that when you bring out a book, people are not aware of it, and when it's out of print, like say for example Mapsa, then everyone is searching for it when it's not available. And I think also if you spread it through the social media, people are willing to read it, and that's the way how it grows and things like that. What are your next books coming up?
Next book, I have two lined up. One is Ancestral Way of Living, and the other one is on personalities like Dr. Albuquerque.
Personalities from Anjuna.
Anjuna.
From village personalities.
Yeah, like Father Faustin and Dr. Mascarenhas.
Dr. Albuquerque was this physician to the Sultan of Zanzibar, whose house was built on the same pattern as
he built a replica.
That, It's still standing at.
It's still standing. It's already 100 years now.
100 years. And it's a small replica of the palace of the Sultan of Zanzibar, and quite big in its own.
Actually, anyone who looks at it and knows Africa immediately, this must be Sultan's.
So
he was a nice guy.
Lot of interesting things from the villages which we are not aware of, and we won't get to know unless we have some connection with those villages in that sense.
I have written detail about Dr. Albuquerque.
I see.
And then in the new book, unfortunately, it is getting postponed.
So he had helped to find a remedy for the plague in Zanzibar?
Yeah.
Plague.
He had gone from India, and at that time, 1846, I think, there was a plague in Bombay. So, and he was aware of that, and he was immediately contacted, and he worked on it, and he was given even an award.
He studied in Grant Medical College.
Yeah, Grant Medical.
Many Goan doctors studied there. And this book, this Pottet Chintop, this is your last book as of now.
Yeah.
It looks at sayings from Konkani.
Sayings from Konkani.
Into Konkani.
Into Konkani. Of course, it did quite well.
Supported by the Dalgat Kokni Academy. They've been quite a force to support some of the Kokni writings. So Domnic, these are traditional sayings, or they are modern sayings translated into Konkani, or both?
Both.
Could you give us a flavor, like maybe read one or two and explain what exactly it stands for?
आपल्या भुरग्याक शिकप दिवन एक बरो मनीस बरो टेस्टामेंट दिता. By teaching his children, he keeps a good name and good legacy. खरे इश्ट मेळोंक कठीण, सोदूंक आगोड आनी विसरोंक असंभवी. True friends, difficult to find and difficult to forget also.
I see. You've not translated it. These are Kokni, they are sayings in Kokni. Some of the words are a little bit complex, no?
Don't speak ill of the dead. Like this.
Okay. Which was the one piece of writing which you got the most amount of feedback for?
The first one, of course.
I see. Why?
Because it was what they wanted.
And it was online first?
No, not online.
No, I mean like you shared the essays online, no?
Most of it were shared on the line, online. People just were interested to know more about.
So that brings us to a point. Does sharing work help you or hurt you?
No, it helps. It
helps.
helps. It
It
never
doesn't
hurts.
it
No,
doesn't
no.
hurt the sale also.
No, no, no,
No.
no, no.
On the contrary.
On the contrary.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. But I hope, looking forward to more work from your pen. And I know that you're grappling issues, and that once your knees are fine, you're going to write with even more force and vigor.
Hopefully.
It will happen. Here's wishing you all the best.
Thank
You for sharing time with CCR TV. That was Domnic P.F. Fernandes, author from Anjuna, who has written 4 books, 1 in Konkani, 3 in English, dealing with various aspects of traditional Goa. Thank you, and do join us next time.
Thank you.
Thanks.